Hello there and welcome to the Tacklebox YouTube page. I'm going to be showing you how to make a hair rig for carp fishing, for catfish fishing, that sort of thing. Okay, first of all, this is the rig here. You've got your swivel on there and you've got your line. This particular line is braid, it's £15. You can have, a lot of the time, doesn't really matter what breaking strain braid you've got, obviously the higher the better in some cases. But because it's such a low diameter, often it doesn't matter what breaking strain it is, because it's often quite thin. Then you've got your hook there. This particular hook is a bent hook. Often some fisheries require you not to have bent hooks. You can actually achieve a bent hook by putting a rubber sleeve on the very end of the shank over the eye. It does create a bit of a bend and it's safer for the fish as well. Yeah, as I say, this particular hook is a size 6 hook. This is a particular carp hook, similar to a raptor hook. And the hair on the end there, this is a barbless hook, and then the hair on the end, that's about 2 to 3 centimeters long. Often I like to give it plenty of length, because if you put the boilie on or whatever bait you're using, pellet, boilie, that sort of thing, if it's too long, you can always wind it around the hook to shorten it. Okay, so I always do it about 2.5, sometimes 3 centimeters. So that's the hair rig there. Basically, I'm going to be showing you how to do it. I'll be using some monofilament line. This particular line it's a strand line. It's 13.2 pound line, and that will be ideal for the carp fishing. If you're going up to catfish fishing, you're obviously going to want something a bit stronger. Normally I use the braid, but just for demonstration purposes it's a bit easier to use the mono, so I'll be using that. Okay, so first of all I'm going to cut myself a length of the line. I always cut it off first, away from the spool, so it's not in the way, and I always cut it too long, because the last thing you want to be doing is cutting it short, start making the rig and find out you've done it too short. Okay, so first of all I'm going to cut the rig down, cut the line down to size. Okay, some of the tools you'll be needing is a pair of scissors. Often I use a pair of pliers. I've got a baiting needle for tying the knot, it just gives it a bit more ease of use, and then possibly a lighter as well. Okay, so moving on, you've got your line. The first thing you're going to need to do, the first thing I do, is tie a very small knot in the end of it. It's just a simple loop knot. And this can be very tricky, so I often use the baiting needle there, just so I can thread it through the loop, hook on, and pull it through, like that. And then that gets me a very nice small loop at the end of the line there. It's got to be big enough for a boilie stop, like a hair rig stop, but you don't want it too small. Because if you can't get the boilie stop in, it's useless, and if it's too big it can often get annoying when you're trying to put a boilie on. And I'll trim that one right down, just so there's not much tag end. Often when there's tag end there, it's hard to take the boilies off if you need to, or put new boilies on, it often damages them. Okay, so far all we've got is a stretch of line with a loop at the end. Okay, so that loop is going to be the very end piece of the hair rig where the boilie stops go. Okay, the next thing we need to do is attach the hook. Okay, again, as I say, it's a size 6. I mean, I have to say, this is a size 6 hook and it's pretty big. If you ask me, it's a size 4. If you showed me that, I'd say it's a size 4. It's a pretty big hook. More often used for catfish, that sort of size, but again, you can use this for big carp. Okay, barbless hook, bent hook, which I don't normally use, but for this purposes I'll just show you. And then simply thread the line through the eye. You always go towards the tip of the hook like that. Always go through. You always want the hair rig on the back of the hook, so it's gone through that way. So you're pushing it through that way. Okay, and then simply pinch it in place where you want it. So if I want about I don't know, I suppose about 2.5 centimetres that length. Often you can put the boilie on first before you do it, just so you can get the perfect length, but I often find this is best. And then just pinch it up against there and wrap it round, wrap the excess line around and then pull it down tight every so often. I often wrap it around about 8 or 9 times just for reassurance. I know a lot of people do it more, a lot of people do it less. After honestly, I didn't even count this one, I've just done it a few times. And then thread the line back up through and make sure the line is going back up through like that. And what you've got there is the way the line pops up through, it acts like a bent hook. Okay, the way the line goes through, it acts like a bent hook. So again, it's good for the hooking the carp. So far we've pretty much got the hair rig done. What you can often do as well is put a bit of saliva on there. Just gives it a bit more. You can tighten it up better when you're pulling the knot tight. Just keeps it stronger, because obviously you're not putting so much friction into it. There's not so much friction and less heat. So far we've got the hook with a hair rig. So it doesn't actually take long to make a hair rig. Okay, so we've done that bit there. Now we're going to follow down the line to where we want the swivel. Okay, this is a size 8 swivel. I use a size 8 swivel because a lot of the time I use size 8 weights, that sort of thing, clips, safety rigs, bolt rigs. So by using a size 8 swivel I can keep to a standard size for every time I fish. And a simple knot, I do a different knot, but for ease of use I'll show you a different knot. This is what they call a half blood knot. You simply hold the line and turn the tag end round the main line 6 times. Can't tie it. So it's twisted round the line, and then if you can carefully see, there's a loop at the end of the swivel. Put it through the loop and pull it tight. And before you put it very tight, just wet it again, so putting a bit of saliva on there, so when you pull the knot tight it's not going to snap the line, there's less friction there, less heat. And then just trim off the tag end. I often leave a couple of mil there, just for reassurance there. I mean, it's away from the carp, from your hook bait, so it's not going to get caught at all. Sorry about that interference there, the camera fell over. Okay, so continuing on, that's the rig there done. What I'll show you now is how to attach a boilie. This is your boilie stops here, this is one I use. What you can do is, if you kindly ask a tackle shop will understand, any other normal shop might do it as well. But when you're actually putting a ticket onto something, you often use these as ties. They're almost like cable ties, and I've noticed that they're exactly the same as boilie stops, so you could always use these and spray paint them. So if you kindly go into a shop, they might give you some. And again, the hole there is perfect size to go through. And then you trim down the boilie stop to whatever size you want.